Hey guys, Doug here. Today, I'm doing one of my favorite things, and that's making a video to answer the questions that you haven't had yet. 10 years ago, I made a video on putting a whipping on your axe and hatchet handles. I was big in the bushcraft world back then, and that applied to almost every tool out there. But the problem is, do you know who watches 10-year-old videos today? Oh, wait. Right. Nobody. So, this week I got playing with grips on my carving knives. Totally separate from the hatchets and the tools. That whipping, by the way, this works for absolutely everything. Terry Barney, Iowa woodsman, way back in the day, we would put 550 cord on everything, or hatchets, knives, put them on your canteen for backup cordage. You would just use whipping all the time. But I never really brought it into the carving world outside of bushcraft knives and stuff. But you have seen people putting like this finger tape on their knives to get a better grip. You know, some manufacturers will put like a varnish coating or something on. I always sand it off and oil them. But even by use with the oils from your hands, sometimes you get your knife a little bit slippery. And I'm using larger blade knives, so I'm always up and down the handle and different grips and different holds. And I found that I slip a couple times, and I don't like that. And but you know what else I don't like? I don't like that. This finger tape works temporarily. It gets filthy and dirty and looks gross, but it just doesn't say you're a good-looking knife. You know what I mean? It's just kind of cheap fix. Like putting hockey tape on something. This week I took my carving knives and I put whipping on my carving knives. Just like so. A very easy thing to do, and great, a great grip. And the way that we're going to do it, a permanent grip, and a grip that the dirtier and the more used it gets, the more cool it looks, really. And it just says, "I love you, man. I love you, knife. You're my favorite knife." Okay? So that's what we're gonna do today. I have some jute. I don't care what kind of jute you get. Just don't get. You don't want rope. You want a finer jute. I don't colored, regular. I've been using this fine little jute thread almost, and yeah, we're gonna do a whipping on this carving knife right here. I'm gonna be using my my little vise here to clamp my knife in place. But if you don't have a vise like that, you can just get a clamp and clamp it to something, or just hammer it into your kitchen table. Just you want some something solid like that. And we'll just take two little pieces of tape, have them at the ready. Got your jute. We're ready to start. You want to decide how long you want your jute before you start, because with the tape and everything it gets a little bit cluttered. But see that? I'm just like an inch from each end, so that's all I really need to know. But I'm going to take my piece of string here, I'm going to put it on the floor. I'm going to take this in my hand, and I'm going to form a little, just fold it over, and I want that the length of my tool handle, and I want a little pull tab left. So just a little loop like that. We're going to take our piece of tape, and we're going to tape it higher than our end point. All right. See, and there we have our little tag, and that is the one that's going to get the other piece of tape. We're going to tape that down. So basically, the width of my tape, we're going to fill that in. Okay, with my tag taped down, I'm going to take the spool. I'm going to just lay it down beside. I'm going to put my finger on here, hold it, and I'm just going to do a loop. Just like that, and that kind of holds that in place. Okay, And from then, I'm just going to start wrapping it around. I'm going to do a couple wraps, and then I'm going to cinch it tight, and go again. See that? We just keep on wrapping around. This is a very thin string, so it's going to take many more wraps than the heavier jute, but and I just keep cinching it tight, cinching it tight. You can get off, you can pull it back and forth. There's room to play with it, but at this point, it's not really rocket science. So there is a tendency you're going to want to really horse it tight, but you don't want to have it super tight because this tag is actually going to be pulled through to bring the other down. But you want good tension, but it's not like you're tying a knot that you want to have every loop crazy tight. Just keep cinching it tight as you go. You don't want to see any spaces between the string. And as we're getting close to the end here, just going to work our way right up to that tape. All right, and right about here, we're going to leave enough string to get to the end of the knife, but we're going to cut it off there. So, taking our knife, just cut our string off. All right, now put one thumb there. We're going to take this piece of tape off of here. We're going to take the piece of tape off the end, the whole end. Come on, there we go. All right. Now, we've got this little bite here. See a little bite that we folded over? We're going to put our string through that bite. All right, just like so. All right. Now, coming over to the back end here, let's get you around here a little bit. We're going to, well, I'm going to put this in my mouth. I'm going to pull this cord and get this string under some of this jute. All right, so I'm not going to put that in my mouth. Oh, so you can see I will. I'm going to pull. See that? And I'm pulling that right underneath that jute. You see that? Perfect. The perfect whipping is when you get that tag right out the other side. But I mean, that is right to here, and it ain't going nowhere. Cut one end off. Look at it. Straighten it out. Look at that. Right, there is a wrap on our knife. Now, we're not going to stop there because we're going to take it to the next step. But this is a nice finished thread that I've used on this one. But say you use the rougher jute like that, you just you're going to want to take a lighter and or be a psychopath and use a torch. You're going to want to burn off all the fuzzies. It gives a nice color, but also a smoother grip again without all the fuzzy. But you know what? Also, if you have a regular jute, a little toasting is kind of nice too. It gives it some color. Well, I do like that. Look at that. Do a little toasting. That looks better already. Beautiful. Now, you can use it as is. It's going to eventually slide around and move. You can put super glue just on each end to keep it from sliding. But let's take it right farther, and these are all like totally glued solid in place, and that's what I'm gonna do with that glue. All right, so with my glue, I'm just gonna put it on. Just start putting the glue to it. And I've got a disposable brush here. I'm just gonna paint it right on. All right. I really want to work the glue right into the thread. All right. I'll show you a little trick in a second here, but let's get this caught up. Cheap brush, losing the bristles. These are all bristles from that throwaway brush. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more glue. So what I want to do, my main priority is I want to get glue touching the wood from on the edge here like that. See that? I want to create a real strong bond on the outside edges here. And then right away, I want to take some water and wash it off the wood. Right? But that way, you get that edge. You get good glue contact between the wood on the edge there. That's never going to roll or come off, right? So. Now, just about got that like so. Wash that off the wood while it's wet. But then after that, what I like to do is take some water and just put some water to your brush and really get it in there. One thing I liked about the epoxy, it was a little bit wetter, and you knew it was saturating right down through and touching the wood. And we may not be getting that with this glue, but we're getting it right to its core. And people say, oh, if you wet your glue, it's not as strong. Well, we're not gluing very, what do you say? We're not, we don't need this for super strength to withstand our weight. It's just to hold, to make a bond to your carving knife. There you go. All right. That's that. Take a paper towel. Wipe off all the excess. Now we know we've got that glue right down in there. There we go. All right. When that glue dries, that's exactly what you're going to get. Just like that. All right. So make sure you get a glue that dries clear. And yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Some people may hate it, but no need to comment. This is your own preference. But for me, I love it. And like I said, if I'm using this knife in the future, I'm going to have questions like, how did you get that whipping on there? That's how I got that whipping on there. All right. Well, there you go. We did not solve any of the world's problems today, but we did put a little bit of love into our favorite carving knife, right? And yeah, give it a try. If you hate it, you can get it off with some with a knife and some sandpaper. But I'm sure you're going to like it. And there you go. It's not just for your carving knife either. You can put it on whatever you need that you slide on. We used to use it for tying up cordage and like I said, wrapping our canteens for just to have the extra survival 550 cord on hand. But it's a great thing to learn, whipping, and yeah, I highly recommend it. I see some of you are eyeballing these blade covers. I whipped these up again this week too. Extra different, add some flair and some color. There's a video back a ways making blade covers. You can use carvings and whatnot. But anyway, that is my video, and give it a shot. Or just rub finger tape on it. But I think I'm sure you'll find this better. So see you in the next one, guys.